Slaves were just in prettier cages.
Oh, Megan. We're only getting started.
Sanctuary for all and sundry. I've been living in an allegory ever since you made advances on me. Sanctuary for all and sundry. I've been living in an allegory ever since you made advances on me. Since the day you came along, we've walked on hand in hand, and as we've grown together, I've come to understand that you act for the best in me and shower me with charms, with your breathless.
You're fired.
What?
You're fired.
What for? Facial sabotage?
Jenny,
Problem?
I want her fired today, now.
Don't worry, Kath, it'll be all right.
No, it won't be all right, Kath. Pack up your weapons of optical destruction and get out.
You realise you're beginning to sound like me?
I mean it, Kath.
Stay where you are, Kath.
Jenny? This is not Jenny's decision, Jeremy, or yours.
It'll be all right. I'll talk to both of them.
Oh, good. You can tell him I'll return his wife's casserole dish at our dinner next week.
Dr. Adrian Atkinson-Bryman returns with a new season.
Jenny.
Sizes, and his very first guest is popular parrot Hamilton.
I'm sorry, Kath, you're gonna have to leave.
At 11:30, it's a double bill for popular transatlantic comedy That Nun.
You're letting it go to your head.
She nearly blinded
10
me.
seconds,
I thought we were
everybody.
all part of a team these days.
Things are better, Jeremy, you know that. Just stop being so
Going in
high and mighty
5,
and do your job.
4,
You'll have me fired too.
3.
Don't tempt me.
All the teams at the National.
Good evening. I'm Megan Wolfe.
And I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight.
The establishment strikes back. The World Council has agreed today to impose punitive sanctions on the people of this country.
The sanctions, which are broad-ranging, include restrictions on the supply of oil and gas, food, clothing, and even some medicines. But how should we react? We asked the public.
So how do you feel about the sanctions?
I actually think that with Advance in charge we'll be fine. Of course the rest of the world will want us to fail, or it'll be their billionaires next. But I trust Julia and Peter.
Thanks, Patrick. Fascinating stuff. Thanks, Patrick.
Popular Prime Minister Julia Salisbury has released a reassuringly brave statement in response to the World Council's controversial announcement.
This international declaration is nothing short of outrageous. We are a democratically elected government with massive popular support. We do not recognise these sanctions, and we encourage other socially progressive nations of the world to both resist and ignore them. Advance have struck fear into the heart of the international community by showing that it is possible to have radical change for the betterment of the many. And whilst I wish we could improve other countries as much as we have our own, we do not rely on the help of others to thrive. This country is entirely self-sufficient. We are a team, now more than ever. And this team is on your side. Thank you.
Defiant stuff. But what do you, the public, think of our government's stance? Robin Short found out.
I was wondering if you could tell me what you think of the government.
What? That shower of iridescent pricks? Punishing success and rewarding laziness? They're taking this country down the bloody Swanee. And it's not just me that thinks so. My wife Iris, she agrees.
Putting the grown-ups to shame. An award today for Camp Busy Fingers, which continues to break all production expectations.
A slightly dazed-looking Sophia Remington presented young foreman Alfie Plank and his team with a certificate, statuette, and a moderately generous tuck shop voucher.
So, how do the public feel about the Youth Employment Opportunity Scheme? Patrick Bannon again.
What are your thoughts on Camp Busy Fingers?
I love it. I just wish they had these kind of chances when I was at school, because if I had real skills, I probably wouldn't have ended up as a waffle waitress. Good for Remington's fist for giving kids a head start.
The delicate sound of thunder. A frightening start for commuters this morning, who were confronted by a somewhat sinister sight as they left their trains.
Many travellers reported feeling intimidated by the silent figures who stood motionless outside every major station in the capital. Radical extremist group Disrupt, who organised the show of strength, refused to comment on the meaning of the strange protest.
Or to apologise to this presenter for making him drop his morning bagel in surprise.
But how do we feel about these somewhat radical extremists and their upsetting methods? Robin found out.
How do you feel about Disrupt?
Oh, well, now you're talking. Ruddy hero, showing us not to take it lying down like Iris here.
So you both feel they're a cause worth supporting?
Well, Iris doesn't speak her mind, but we're pretty sure there's still one in there, aren't we, love? Wherever it is, it loves Disrupt, fighting the yoinks for our freedom. And what can possibly be wrong with that?
Do you need me to get you some help?
Bubbling up, intrepid scientist Dr. David Wong and Dr. Ingrid Svorsborg and Hawkinsford today sent a blueprint of the escape craft in which they hope to finally leave Dante's taint.
With expert opinions of the plan running the gamut from optimistically engineered to that looks like something my granddad made in his shed, it sounds like the unfortunate team are going to need all the thoughts and prayers they can get.
So what should we think about the escape plan? Patrick Bannon again.
Yeah, don't worry, they're going to cut all this, aren't they? It's disgusting. Christ. Oh, Jesus, wet. Have you thought about quitting smoking?
Right. No, I'm fine now.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
The trapped scientists.
Oh, yeah, right.
The trapped scientists. Brilliant.
I am not a number. Applications finally opened today for the new Advanced Team Membership Cards, a scheme by the government to allow fast access to all the new public services being introduced daily.
The team membership cards are entirely voluntary, but will be recognised as legal identification by all major organisations, including the police, banks and, vitally, pubs and bars.
And of course, there's no charge, Jeremy.
It all seems too good to be true.
Well, you've always been a cynic. But most importantly, what should you, the public, think about the new team membership cards?
Team membership cards? Oh, yeah, fantastic. I'm applying today. I mean, why wouldn't you? What are these protesters doing that they don't want us to know who their names are? Besides, have you seen the savings you can get? I'm getting one for the little one as well. Oh, how adorable. Yeah, gonna be a proper little team member, aren't you? Yes, he smiles. He smiles.
And finally tonight, getting stuck in a shameless attempt to cash in on his bad boy status, shamed celebrity Johnny Hamsleeves announced a new line of real ale at a press conference earlier today.
The new brew, entitled Headbutt Ale in reference to his controversies of last year, promises a night you'll pretend you regret.
Or possibly a night you'll pretend you remember.
So what should we all think of Johnny's latest attempt to market his notoriety? Patrick?
Don't really care, love.
Wise words there.
Later tonight, in a bit of a switcheroo, it'll be Jeremy in the culture chair, spitting rhymes with popular rapper Jay Zust. And then we'll both be chatting with a familiar team of thespians set to take the nation by storm again.
That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News. Tonight, thankfully, some news as we return to our main story.
The World Council today agreed that punitive and potentially illegal sanctions should be imposed upon this country. The sanctions, which come into effect immediately, aim to stop the flow of food, fuel and even some medicines from reaching your pockets.
Tonight, we have guests from across the continent to discuss this unprecedented situation. For Advance, Peter Clement is at his home in Lamfordshire. Are you there, Peter?
Yes, I can hear you, Jeremy. Thank you for having me.
A momentous day, Prime Minister. Are you shaken?
Oh, I don't scare that easy, I'm afraid, old son. And neither do the people of this country.
Well, joining us is Ivan Vodovich, Foreign Minister of Urkistan. Ivan, thank you for being here.
With great pleasure. You, Megan Wolf, are like strongest guard or labour camp who wake up inside body of crazy, expensive prostitute. In my country, you will be worshipped as a god.
Okay. Minister, as one of those arguing most strongly for these sanctions, how do you feel about Advance's defiant stance?
Advance is like man who thinks he has a big career in movies land, when actually he in dirty sanitarium, screaming at mirror and holding tiny penis in hand.
He's clearly not from Svenland, and we have like some of the cleanest mental health care facilities in the continent, yeah.
And welcome to Svenland's Minister of Mojo, Björk. I'm sorry, we don't appear to have your surname.
It's just Björk, yeah. We don't use things like socially divisive surnames here, yeah.
Minister?
It's just Björk, yeah.
Right, Björk. Your country spoke in favour of Advance at the World Council today, but you were noticeably absent when it came to the actual vote.
Well, what a surprise. The hippies didn't show up for the fight.
Actually, that's quite racist, because if you must know, we were going to go to the whole like vote thing, yeah, but it's actually the Festival of Furelands here at the moment, where we honor the old generations. So like we all had to look our grandparents clean, yeah, whilst the vote was happening, and that's like a really, really time-consuming process, actually.
You're like sissy man. You have this expression, sissy man. It's like man with tiny penis who like to wash more than once a week.
Actually, that's quite homophobic, yeah,
Oh,
because...
stop winding him up, Ivan. We're not back at the Grange now. Sorry, Jeremy. Ivan and I used to play golf back in my media days.
Yeah, he always wins.
Nothing gives him greater pleasure than grinding people's gears. The more publicly, the better.
Peter, you're like man with tiny penis who think he have tiny penis, but actually he discovered that. Oh, could it be? No, it's tiny penis.
Ivan's just worried that when the rest of the world sees how well we're doing, they'll notice all that dosh that he's got squirreled away. Because that's what these sanctions are, Megan. They're the last pathetic gasp of an establishment in collapse. Wolves at the gates, Ivan, old mate.
Good. You can join others on my wall.
Actually, in Svenland, we have, like, serious animal welfare legislation. And, like, my friend Helga, she got arrested, yeah, for killing a butterfly that was hovering over her field thing. I mean, in English, jam sandwich.
I used to know a girl called Jam Sandwich. She was a right cracker, too. Wonder what became of her?
We seem to be wandering a little from the news here.
That's human interest, Jeremy. The real people behind the headlines and all that. So if you're watching, Jan, give us a call.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see if we can't organise a reunion.
Crash, I'm not sure about that. I'll have to run it past Mrs. Clement first, eh?
Peter, you're like man trying to empty ashes of mistresses into oncoming vent. Soon you have tiny penis and beard full of secrets.
In Svenland, we don't really go in for all that restricted monogamy stuff here. We're kind of flawed, actually.
Okay, well, it seems that we are running out of time.
Yes, so before we go to the break, briefly, if you would, gentlemen, with the people of this country facing shortages and
possible shortages and power outages.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Possible shortages and power outages. Can you summarise your thoughts for us, Minister Biak?
Well, from here, yeah, you all look a bit stupid really arguing about outdated devices, concepts like money. In Finland, we replaced currency with a system of bodily fluids back in the 1970s, and that's like really hard to sanction, actually.
Thank you, Minister Votovich.
Your country is like man who think he invented perfect trap for giant mutant hairy bear. When really, he just standing in field
holding his tiny penis, yes. Thank you, Minister. And finally, Prime Minister Clement.
Let me talk to your viewers here, Jeremy. Don't worry, everybody. Don't be afraid. Don't even lose a wink of sleep. We knew the rest of the world would react this way, and we're ready. As my old man used to say, you can't make a shite pie without blocking a few toilets.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Reassuring words there.
We'll be back.
After these messages.
We'll be back.
1 minute back.
Hey, Peter, I over your way this weekend. You fancy a quick 9?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, I'm Sophia Remington, and I'm extremely unmarried. But that doesn't mean I don't care about families. We all know children are important for our retirement, but let's face it, sometimes the little monsters can be a bit of a handful. Don't trust me, I haven't spawned. Let's listen in on a couple of genuine real parents.
This is important. New government censorship should show up in blood. Same as regular censoring. Keep an eye out for the advanced blue
I dream of choking the last tiny breath out of little Frankie. But when I wake up, he's still here. There has to be a better way.
And now there is. Now there is a...
What?
Should I just, like, curtsy?
Hang on. Have they given you the Crown Prince report?
What?
Meghan?
This is Jeremy, and he'll be interviewing you.
Oh.
Yo, thanks for having me on your show, man.
It's quite all right.
Yo, just a quick one. You're not going to ask me about the chimp, are you?
Live in 10 seconds.
Because he put that get up on himself. I'm just saying.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. I'm Megan Wolf. Later, we have an exclusive first look at a theatrical sensation everyone's going to be talking about. But first, it's time to go over to the culture spot with lovely old Jeremy Donaldson, who's joined by a very special guest. Jeremy.
Thanks, Megan. I have the honour and privilege of being joined by hip-hop royalty. He's been called the son of the streets and the father of truth. Not sure how that works, but whatever. Let's welcome Jesus.
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, it's a real honor to be here on your show, The News. You know, as a kid on the streets, I used to watch you through a window of the shop, so to be here right now is crazy.
You've had quite the journey to be here today. Can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I try not to, well, you know, the past is the past, and I don't like to dwell on it.
I understand. You
But yeah, man, the streets is all I remember. Like, my mother donated me to a charity shop soon after I was born. Elderly lady took pity on me. You know, she let me sleep on a pile of crime fiction until I taught myself how to walk.
Wow, that's quite the childhood.
And she died tragically, right there in my arms, man. You know, I remember a tear falling as she laid there next to the used homeware. And in that moment, I became a child of the streets. I was just 18 months old.
What a tale. What a tale. You're known for your direct and honest lyrics. Was your style informed by your troubled past?
Oh, like I said, I try not to talk about it. It's just too hard.
Of course.
But my first album is about the story of the first 4 times I stole, so I wouldn't starve. A small group of infants came to see me as their de facto leader. They call me Mr. Cheese Slice. Anyway, we were like a family.
So it would seem. Recently, you've been quite outspoken about the government.
Yeah, fuck the government. Fuck Advance. Fuck Peter Clement.
What is it that you object to so vehemently?
Well, you know, they stole from us. They're taking our money and spending it, man.
Redistributing it. Actually, homelessness has been all but eliminated in the last couple of months.
So?
Surely that's a cause close to your heart?
Yeah. Nah, of course, man. Very much so. I just mean, like, why do I have to pay for it, you know?
You don't. People have been rehoused on property seized from the historically wealthy. And that couldn't have been you, could it?
Look, yeah. I worked hard to be here. I built this from nothing. And I deserve to be rewarded for that.
Would you say you worked harder than, say, a farmer or a care worker?
I don't know. But if people are taking something from my music, choose to value it, buy it, who's to say I don't? And no one can take that away from me.
Not even to help, say, vulnerable children? Mr. Cheese Slice?
What is it you're trying to say?
I just don't understand where you've placed yourself politically. I mean, is it ideological or is it tactical?
Well, it's more of
or
like...
maybe it's hereditary.
Stop trying to tie me in knots with your words, Jeremy. I let the music speak for itself. And the people agree with me.
Well, that remains to be seen. But you have given me a very easy segue out of a conversation that I promise you was much more painful for me than it was for you. So here he is with his hit song, Mrs. Ludlow's Tears.
Oh, no. I'm going to do something a little different. It's a new single I've been working on.
Oh, so this is unapproved, is it?
Yeah. You love it?
Excellent. Don't worry, we've got a state-of-the-art censorship system. What's the worst that could happen? So here he is with a new song. Aren't we lucky? It's Jesus!
First, you're gonna pay up. You're gonna pay back.
Well, we're all different races from many different places. At any given moment, only one could be the greatest. So you can feel elation from your participation. Still 2 leaders in this motherfucking nation. Now we're getting sanctioned, talking about expansion. Why does Julius require a massive fucking mansion? So fuck all your schemes. I don't need your freaky team, and I don't need your help to achieve my fucking dreams. So don't make a fuss when you find you're one of us. Yeah, every single one of you's a bit Jesus. And you can call me crazy, cause no one ever pays me. But I won't waste a lifetime being motherfucking lazy. I may be inventive, my taste may be expensive, but why would I get out of bed with no fucking incentive? Although it's contravention of your obvious intention, I like to eat a little of the fruits in my invention. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. The best of the praise of the crest of the wave, cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Take this fact, gonna stain it red, gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head, cause he's fit as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. It's time to stone the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork. So this is for the snub ones, the push and the shove ones, the folks that feel the burden of their motherfucking loved ones who had plenty like a motherfucking Bentley, the ones who now finding out their bank accounts are empty, the ones with aspiration who had to flee a nation, the ones who built a business out of dreams of perspiration. There's all sorts of people, the good and the evil. It only takes a glance to see we're not all equal. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. And the best of the praise of the crest of the waves, cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Gonna take this fact, gonna stain it red, gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head, cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. Time to stone the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork. Get out of your seats, get your asses in the streets, set a fire in the building, let them feel some fucking heat. Say you hate to go getters, you're squilling bet betters, and burn them on the powers of advances fucking letters. Gonna take this fact, gonna stain it red, gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head, cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. Time to stone the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork. Chase that dream, you don't need a fucking team, and advances little dances aren't as harmless as it seems, cause they're stale and corrupt, then you're angry or wrong, then your hearts and your minds and your fists to destruct.
Jesus there with his new song. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. I'm sorry. I may not agree with you, but I'd just like to offer you an apology. I've just been told that there was some kind of issue upstairs and an attempt was made to censor some of your lyrics.
What? Are you joking?
I'd just like to say to you and everyone at home that this was a mistake.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe this.
Here at the National Nightly News, we pride ourselves on remaining neutral, unbiased, and independent of any outside interference. You have my word. We will never censor ideas. Back to you, Megan.
Well, a bit of dangerous language there, sorry about that. Well, thank you to little Jeremy Donaldson for providing our culture spot. Coming up, we'll be speaking to a couple of familiar faces about their upcoming dramatic outing. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
That's the ads.
Just a reminder, fixing that old VCR.
No, this is ridiculous.
Who dropped them, baby? Last ad break.
A fair share of the abundant, nutritious food we grow right here in the territory. Your entitlements book will be coming to you by post in the next few days, and it will let you claim enough food for the week every week at one of our many new distribution centres. Everyone will get their fair share, and no one will be left behind. So you can carry on coming together to enjoy life.
Look at him.
If we could just get you in position.
Oh, say no more. Say no more.
Megan, Jeremy, you remember Mr. Algebra?
Vividly.
And Mr. Harris, and this is Ms. Radin.
What?
Philippa, please.
You're back together again, eh? Who'd have thought it?
Perhaps a lower order demon.
Yes, it is awfully exciting, isn't it?
Right, okay then. We're going live in 10 seconds. Opening on camera 1.
Try. Cheers.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, and no, you're not mistaken. Sitting across from us are some very familiar faces.
You really are too kind, Megan. It was only a yogurt commercial, but I'm still proud of it.
Here to talk about his new show, we're joined by National Treasure Tommy Harris, the National Theatre's Philippa Radin, and National Deficit Jeff Algebra.
It's so lovely to have you all. Tommy, would you like to tell us about the show?
You know what? I'd bloody love to. It's about me. It's about my life.
And where did the idea come from?
So, right, picture this. Their legs akimbo, mid-session, sweat is pouring out of me like an immense hog. And then Cindy comes in, she says, Pete's on the phone.
That's Peter Clement, the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Pete's actually a really good mate of mine.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, no, he comes to training sometimes. He's actually a pretty good goal sweeper. Anyway, so, yeah, Pete, he says, Toby, he thinks my name's Toby, see? He says, how would you like to spread your message of team spirit and cooperation across this fractured nation? How would you like to really make a difference in these desperate times?
What did you say?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, Jeff, the question on everyone's lips is, what in God's name are you doing here?
Well, after the success of my debut work and all the people that I've touched, I knew that I had a career in theatre. Yeah? I've always been an admirer of Tommy from afar. So when my manager phoned and said that I'd been offered the gig as director, I was ecstatic. I whipped my trousers off and got straight to work.
Why did you do that?
I do all my best work with my trousers off.
Yeah, I've been told that too.
No, I wouldn't say so. Right, Tommy, sorry, would you just give us a sense of what the show is actually about?
It's about how hard it's been for me and some of the struggles that I've faced. It's like really getting to the heart of how tough it is to be me. I call it Tommy Harris, Jesus, that was hard.
It's catchy. We actually have some clips of the process of the show. Would you mind telling us what's going on here?
Yeah, so the show is built around two things that are very important to me. It mixes scenes from my life as well as epic fantasy retellings of scenes from my life.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
I'm sorry, son. You're an embarrassment.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
Back, demon! Back to the hells!
Wow. Philippa, what's it been like co-starring with Tommy Harris? I've always dreamed of treading the boards at medium-scale regional theatres, Megan. And for once, this show really gives me something to sink my teeth into. What's different about this show, then? Tommy, Mr. Harris's show really lets me show my tremendous range as an actor. I've always suffered from typecasting, forced to play the same tired characters in every god-awful yogurt advert or godforsaken soap opera or, God forbid, a pantomime. But, you know, this show has really let me just go there.
Jeff, the viewers at home will be dying to know exactly what is it that you bring to the show?
Oh, good question. I think these guys would agree with me when I say that it's my steady hand on the tiller, my arm round the shoulder approach that's really brought the production from strength to strength.
Absolutely right. Jeff's contributions are immeasurable. He was our rock. Can you give us a sneak peek of anything else that might be in the show?
Yeah, all sorts, yeah.
Yeah. We've got lots of exclusive first-hand experiences of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
And some epic fantasy retellings of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
You'll never take the sacred pass!
And am I right in saying this was officially commissioned by the government?
Yeah, all paid for by the taxpayer, which, you know, to be honest, was actually a lifesaver, really.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that without Advance's support, we'd have had to cut the finale. Yeah.
Which, frankly, would have been a travesty.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ!
Goodness, and you do this every night?
Absolutely. It's a metaphor.
For what?
Death.
And the public are footing the bill, are they?
Too bloody right they are. Between the cost of my tour bus and the dry cleaning of my ties, I'm barely scraping a profit here.
Amazing. And where can the folks at home come and see this for themselves? We're performing all over the nation. And people can see it for absolutely free, all courtesy of Advance. Isn't that incredible, Jeremy?
Yes, it's unbelievable, Megan.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. Next time we see you, no doubt, you'll have taken our jobs.
Yeah.
That's all we have time for tonight. Join us tomorrow when I'll be interviewing the world's most attractive horse. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. And from all of us here, have a peaceful night.
Sanctuary for all and sundry. I've been living in an allegory ever since you made advances on me. Since the day you came along, we've walked on hand in hand, and as we've grown. It's awfully nice if you don't think twice. I've been living in a paradise ever since you made advances on me. I've been living where the food is free, a sanctuary for all and sundry. I've been living in an allegory ever since you made advances on me. Since the day you came along.
This is a staff announcement. This is Mr. Bozeman, your boss. Now that we have this newfangled tannoy system up and running, I wanted to take the opportunity to remind you all that we value productivity and attention to detail above all other concerns. Also, that the salami sandwich in the fridge is mine and mine alone. Bozeman out.
I'm sweating like Peter Clement in an opera license here.
Okay, we're working on it.
What, you've got someone to hose down the sun, have you?
Yes, they've just strapped on their wax wings.
Classical illusions are no substitute for air conditioning.
You know, I genuinely thought you'd be in a better mood today. She's not even here.
Yes, but he is. Our gun-toting handler.
Who, Andy?
I don't know what the fuck his name is, do I?
He's here to keep us safe from people like Disrupt.
More like keep us in line. I hate guns. Give me the willies.
10 seconds, everybody.
So, we've got any actual real news tonight?
Well, the world's on fire. That good enough for you? Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight. Siege mentality. The World Council today established a military blockade to enforce the unjust and punitive sanctions now entering their 10th week. In a statement from team headquarters a short time ago, Prime Minister Julia Salisbury issued a commanding response to this unprovoked escalation.
The World Council should make no mistake. This blockade and the illegal sanctions it seeks to enforce are an act of war and will be treated as such. Any incursion, however slight, into our territory will be met with swift and deadly force. You have been warned.
Beer in the headlights. Burgeoning brewmeister Johnny Hamsleeves has today launched a new marketing campaign to revitalise the image of his unpopular Headbutt Ale. Adamant that his craft brew could be a commercial success if only he could get in front of the right audience, Johnny's gone to surprising lengths in his latest PR stunt. In a move he's calling groundbreaking and his accountants are calling irresponsible, Johnny has launched 1,000 bottles of beer into the stratosphere, where they've now settled into geostationary orbit. He's hailing it as a landmark achievement, while scientists are condemning his cosmic fly tipping. In it to win it. Exciting news from Advance today with the announcement of a new monthly prize draw for all team membership card holders. Every month, lucky winners from across the country will be picked at random to receive what Team HQ are describing as unique prizes worth more than money used to be. Take-up on the scheme has been much higher than expected, and if this lucky winner's delighted face is anything to go by, it looks like pretty soon everyone's going to have one. Supply and demand. Despite initial controversy, Remington's Fist have today announced a huge expansion of their junior employment opportunity scheme. While originally greeted with skepticism, the popularity of Camp Busyfingers and its cheap and accessible workforce has grown beyond dispute, with today's announcement the next logical step in the programme's growth. Remington's Fist say their decision to increase the age range of their camp members was the obvious solution to the concerns about the production line's safety and efficiency. A spokesman said, starting younger means more extensive training, and keeping them longer means they will get more responsible middle management once they reach the age of about 9 or 10. Some men left behind. Escape craft construction has been hampered by problems as the beleaguered scientists stuck in Dante's taint have had to make the hard call of who won't be coming back due to their new vessel's limited capacity. Despite their promising start, it's fair to say that enthusiasm for the venture has waned. Trade tensions are rumoured to have led to plans being rushed and big problems that could have been avoided by just simply counting how many of them there are. Deciding it would be wise to put their best foot forwards, the team have imposed a minimum IQ requirement for those that would like to make the journey home. The limit is said to be somewhere between the astrophysicists and the geologists. life during wartime. As if we didn't have enough aggressors on our borders, internal problems are growing for the government as radical activist group Disrupt caused chaos in Parliament Park last night. Scuffles broke out after the protests, resulting in multiple arrests and the injury of 3 community cohesion officers. Advance have yet to comment. The reckless fire will certainly be remembered by all those who have seen these striking images. As their actions escalate, people across the country are asking themselves, who are Disrupt and what exactly do they want? Other than a new box of matches, of course. All this, and I'll be talking to some people with fascinating medical conditions, as well as one of the contenders in this year's Feline Football Championship and her proud owner. That's all up on tonight's National Nightly News. But first tonight, our team of correspondents has been dispatched to every corner of the country to see how the people of this great nation of ours are coping with this unprecedented hot weather. First, let's go to Megan Wolf in Shining-on-Sea to see what the scientific community has to say. Megan, how's the weather there?
It's absolutely glorious, Jeremy. Thank you for asking. I'm here with Dr. Anna Burns of the University of Princeford. Are you enjoying the weather as much as I am? Oh, yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? My eyelids are sweating. And you're part of a team carrying out a study into just what's causing this unbelievable heat, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, we want to be able to reassure the public once and for all that there's absolutely nothing to worry about and that they can enjoy their sunstroke and fossil fuels in peace.
You sound very confident about that.
Oh, very much so. I can say without any hesitation, there's really no cause for any concern here. I've actually left my car running.
So tell us about this experiment.
Well, we take data from weather stations from all over the world, along with atmospheric samples, and we take all that and we feed it into this state-of-the-art computer, and very soon we'll be getting a high-tech readout of the results.
Blimey, that sounds very fancy.
I should just say, none of this would be possible without the generous support of Remington's Fist. This is all thanks to their unrivaled investment in our future, and may I just say, complimentary personal anecdotes. Oh, here we go. And, as expected, everything is absolutely fucked. Hang on. This can't be right.
Right, but obviously you said a second ago that everything is absolutely fine, so, you know.
Well, actually, under concern level, it just says, why, God, why?
We should be celebrating these wonderful results, I think.
Yeah? We need to evolve gills within 40 years.
You look thirsty.
Here it just says, shit.
Look at you. This is meant to be a celebration. Can't go around looking like that.
Shit.
There you go, much better. Can I just say thank you again to Sophia Remington for providing all of this.
Everyone, we don't have long. Time is running out.
It's running out. Absolutely right. That is all we have time for.
Abandon hope and return to the forest.
Enjoy that. I'd like to thank Dr. Burns for just one opinion on the climate.
The sea will reclaim us all.
There you have it, Jeremy. Proof, if proof be need be, that everything is just fine. I'm Megan Wolf, here with science. Back to you.
Megan Wolf there, attempting to do some actual news. Next, it's over to Robin Short, who's in Scritchford with some of the winners of this week's team membership lottery. Robin?
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm here in Scritchford with Gary Failsafe, a janitor at the local school, and Amelia Jackhammer, an aspiring poet. Both of you were drawn at random from those who hold team membership cards to receive this week's amazing prize. How do you feel?
Filled with fervent euphoria.
Yeah, good, yeah.
And all that we had to do was fill in a quick form or two.
Wow, that sounds so convenient, but we're all dying to know, what have you won?
That's right, Robin. I've won dinner with Julius Salisbury at one of the capital's top restaurants.
Ooh, swanky.
And I've been invited to Peter Clement's house to help him dredge the gutter in.
That's absolutely terrific. You must both be over the moon.
I've written a poem about it.
So, can you tell me about the moment when you first heard the news?
Well, I was battling against a particular... probably one of the sixth formers, when the headmaster came and found me.
I was involved in a similarly brutal conflict with a particularly arduous stanza.
So you were both polishing turds?
No, I don't like to polish them. I like to keep them intact for my collection.
Oh. How unexpected.
I don't polish turds. I write poetry.
Potato, potato. So, Gary...
Do you think Peter Clement's going to let me keep the contents of his downpipe?
There's no harm in asking, I suppose.
Would you like to hear one?
No, thank you. Gary, when you signed up for team membership, was it in hopes of winning the lottery, or were there other reasons?
I like a flutter, of course, but no...
Well, go on then. Thank you. Well, go on then.
Very sensible. It's important to know who we're trusting around our children.
Oh, I have an unpublished book of sonnets about children. Perhaps you'd like to hear one.
No!
Or an anthology of haikus on the death of innocence.
I'd rather hear about...
Really? I thought you might say that.
Oh. Oh.
Are you all right?
Yes, it's coming. It's coming. It's inspiration, and it's delicious.
Right you are. Right you are.
Today on the show, there's no news. Just a man who keeps multiple poos.
Yeah, this big one's my favourite. See how it's fibrous, really lovely texture.
Would you encourage other people to enter for their chance to win?
If it's colour you're looking for, take a gander at old Blue Eyes here.
The national news lost its way when it covered some crap on a tray.
Some of these are quite rare.
Maybe that was unfair.
And that's all we have time for today. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Robin. What a lucky pair they are. And finally in this segment, it's over to Patrick Bannon, who's gone to the smelliest town in the country to see how the unprecedented weather is affecting the locals. Patrick?
Hello there, Jeremy. Hello, yes. I'm here live in Grizzleford, which has recently voted the smelliest town in the country. And I have to say that, you know, in this heat, the smell really is. I mean, it's something else. Barry Lardons, mate, you've lived here your whole life. How'd you put up with the stink?
Well, we're just all very proud of our achievement, to be honest with you.
You can tell that, look at him, proud as punch.
Do you know what it's like, son, being the second smelliest town?
No, I don't.
Living in the shadow of Arseminster. Those smug fucks. But who's laughing now, eh?
So what, not me, that's for sure. So what happened, mate?
Right, the good people from Remington's Fist came in and saved the day with their factory.
You're talking, of course, about the newly built flour factory.
Yeah, they gave us this big presentation on jobs and growth. But as soon as we heard about the stench, we paid them whatever they wanted to put it here.
But does the stink not affect your life in every way, Barry? I mean, perhaps if you're filling in a tax return or completing the physical act of love.
It's strong at first, but you get used to it after several weeks of your first bout of sickness. The judges were very impressed.
So, what's sickness?
Oh, that's nothing to worry about. It takes a few minutes before you develop any symptoms. Now, folk are saying something about the production line and how they dump carcasses directly into the water main, but I think it's probably the fume valves on the high street.
On the high street? Should I see a doctor? What are the symptoms?
Well, the first one is asking stupid questions. Then folk experience a loss of inhibition.
Fuck off, do they? When was the last time you brushed your teeth, this stinking old tramp?
Next recording is a period of randomly bursting into song, followed immediately by delusions of grandeur.
Oh, that's not really a problem. I've never sung in my life. Hello, it's sexy Patrick Bannon, and he's wearing sexy shorts now. Oh my God, look at me. I'm like a stallion. I'm gorgeous. Why didn't you tell me? I should take my shirt off. You know what? I'll even let you touch me if you want.
That will be the bout of undeserved self-confidence.
Love the Bannon, feel the Bannon. Love the Bannon, feel the Bannon.
And the ennui. All that's left now are the hallucinations and unconsciousness.
Nana Dottie? Was that you? Why are you made out of elbows? You know I don't eat opinions.
He's actually unconscious.
Once he wakes up, he'll be just fine. We'll just find a place to stick him where it won't matter how many times he evacuates his bowels. Right, that's all here from Grizzleford, a town that's really making a stink. I'm Barry Lardons. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Barry. With a naval blockade being set up around our coastline as we speak, when we come back, I'll be talking to 3 members of the general public who appear to be here purely for medical reasons. Don't go away. Unless, of course, you've got something better to do. We'll be back after these messages.
This next section features a potentially controversial guest. Advance may request some censorship if he goes too off topic. You've done a great job so far keeping everyone happy, so let's keep up the good work.
Ferris wheel. Carousel. Roller coaster. We've got none of that, but I can tell you what we do have. Danger cars. Colourful germ pit. This swing. Stay with us in our rustic accommodation with all the facilities you'd expect.
Hats full?
Water.
We should be doing an interview with the War Minister or a report from Grentham Downs. Even the weather will be more fucking relevant than this.
Jeremy, please, just breathe. It's just something light to keep people's minds off things.
Exactly, which is wrong. People's minds should be very much on things. Christ, it's so fucking hot.
Please take your seats as quickly as you can.
I can't do this anymore, Jenny. I've had enough. That's it. This is just
10 seconds. Get over yourself, Jeremy. Why don't you stop feeling sorry for yourself for 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News with me, your host, Jeremy Donaldson. Later, we'll be talking to the captain of the Territory's first cat football team, Professor Pumpkin. But first, I'm joined by 3 guests with some balmy bodily behaviours. Joining me is a woman who's been hiccuping for over 9 months. Isn't that right, Miss Piercy?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Tell us, what brought all this on?
Well, it's all a bit of a blur, Jeremy, to be totally frank with you. So I was watching your show and I remember seeing the news about the election and it hasn't stopped since.
Fascinating stuff. Also here is Frankie Steampipe. Perhaps you could explain to us exactly what your physiological foreboil is.
I'm here to say it's high time people like me were respected. We're constantly overlooked in the workplace, we're whispered about on buses, and we're asked politely to leave children's birthday parties. And it's disgusting. I'm sorry, my bowels have comic timing.
And finally, I'm joined by a man who answers every question honestly, even when it isn't aimed at him. How do you cope with that, Mr. Truman?
With a combination of booze, self-hatred, and hardcore pornography.
Is that right?
Not according to my therapist.
Well, in that case, let's speak to Rose. Tell me, how does the hiccuping impact you?
I get shushed a lot, which is hard. At work, they've asked me to stop answering the phones. It's really affected my confidence.
Well, I find it really fucking irritating.
Do people tend to believe your story?
Fuck no.
Actually, I've been surprised at how much support I've received.
And Frankie, why have you come here today?
Because my wife left me and I was hoping that the fame would win her back.
We've started a group for people with ailments deemed broadly comical by society. It's called Take Us Seriously.
That's right. And we bloody well mean it.
And who's joined so far?
A bunch of fucking losers.
It's just us so far.
And how much success have you had?
Well, we've seen some real positive changes.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's been a runaway success.
Shit all. Not a single person come to our fun run, and all of our leaflets fell in the canal.
Huh. Well, Miss Piercy, some people are saying your condition was actually caused by the shocking events of that night. What do you think?
Come down, Mr. Donaldson, that's absolute rubbish.
What it'd be like to have a pair of tits.
Could you? I'm sorry, it's very hot. What was I thinking?
That you're a team fuck puppet?
No.
Or a sellout cunt.
a reminder that he can't help it. And hey, if this isn't live television, then what is it?
A fuckfest of propaganda masquerading as journalism.
Right, Frankie, Rose, tell us, how can the viewers get involved with your cause?
Yes, we're holding a sponsored run in Capital Park next weekend. It's called the No Smiles 13 Miles.
No, it's called the No Laugh Half. What did I say before the show?
That it was the team pulling Jeremy Donaldson's strings.
No, I didn't say,
Wow, we may have to end that there, unfortunately. What a harmless bit of fun.
Steady on! This is exactly what I'm talking about. We demand respect.
Yes, well, later, I'll be talking to Professor Pumpkin, a ginger tabby with a world-class pair of penalty paws. Is that really necessary?
No, it isn't. Let go. Not you.
Unhand him at once. Enough! That's enough! Enough!
What are you doing?
Trying not to piss myself.
Alex, cut.
Don't you dare! Don't you fucking dare cut to the ads before I tell you to. Now, you in the broadcast centre, Bozeman's little scapegoat, you listen to me. You cut to the ads before I tell you to, and I will kill every single person in this studio.
Jeremy, think about what
I am thinking about what I'm doing. I've been thinking about it for a long time. We all should be. Christ, it's so fucking hot in here. Do you remember when we used to do the real news? Before it was all lottery winners and bloody cat football? We are on the brinks of a siege the likes of which the world hasn't seen in hundreds of years. The enemy is at the gates, and I'm stuck here talking to these three fucking idiots.
I think my hiccups have stopped.
You three, get the fuck out of my studio. Go on, now, go, before I change my mind. Jenny, lock the doors. Lock the doors.
Yes, Jeremy.
Now. Good. Yes. Now. Right then. You in the broadcast centre. Alex, you listen to me. You pay attention. Now, I'm sure you've already loaded up exactly what you're going to play in the commercial, but today is going to be a little bit different. Look to your right. Yes, really. Look to your right. There is a VHS tape, and I want you to load it into one of the machines, and when I say so, and not before, you play it. You've got about 15 seconds, so I wouldn't waste any time. Now, all cameras.
Alex, I assume you won't be playing that tape. This station does not negotiate with terrorists. I hope I've made myself clear. You seem to know what to do.
Every single thing that comes out of this studio is either one-sided, or by now, we're going to show the other side for a bit. For a bit of fucking balance. Like the good old days. Alex, play the fucking tape.
Well done, Alex. From the station's perspective, you made the right call.
Transition and community cohesion services we all enjoy. Finally, by working as a team, we have raised living standards and are the envy of an increasingly jealous world. And with these newfound luxuries come new opportunities for those who have put the needs of the team before their own. From this month, everyone who is registered for a team membership card will automatically be entered into a lottery to win life-enhancing prizes. And why wouldn't you register? After all, the team membership card is your passport to your world-class public services, and it's absolutely free. Just be sure to have your team membership card with you.
What do you mean they didn't play it? Why the fuck didn't they hit? Alex, what the heck is wrong with you? You had a chance to make a real fucking difference.
Jeremy, calm down.
You fucking calm down. How long?
8 seconds.
You. What's your name?
Andy.
Of course it fucking is.
Jeremy, put the gun down, please.
How long?
We're going live now.
Welcome back to what's left of the National Nightly News. Our main story tonight. There is a fucking massive military blockade being set up around this country. We are surrounded and outgunned, as incidentally am I. Now, I have asked for all the security doors to be locked, the studio doors to be locked, but security is on its way. So, I doubt we'll have much time. But while there is, let's try and do the fucking news. Our first guest tonight is Jenny. She works here in production, and earlier today she told me she put forward several news stories. Older viewers will remember those, but they've all been rejected. So tell us, Jenny, what's somehow less important than Barnum and Bailey's Amazing Shit Circus and Commander Pumplenuts, the fucking cat footballer?
It's Professor Pumpkin.
Really, Jenny? There isn't much time. Come on, just one real news story.
I don't know, I can't think. I'm trying.
Christ! You haven't even taken into public ownership yet. I mean, might as well be run from Julia fucking Salisbury's no doubt immaculate kill room.
You want to leave her alone?
And this gallant knight, in slightly shattered armour, is Andy. He's a CCO. What's that stand for, Andy?
Community Cohesion Officer.
And what does that mean, Andy?
Well, we aim to strive...
No, you utter prick. I mean, what does that mean? What is a CCO? What are you?
Community...
Policeman! You're a policeman, a fucking policeman!
Yeah, that's what we used to be called.
Used to be? It was less than 2 months ago. What the hell is wrong with you all? Jenny, any recollections yet?
Nothing springing to mind.
All right, then. Looks like you're in the hot seat, Andy. Exciting, eh? I mean, that's what you joined up for, wasn't it? Excitement? Is this your first hostage situation?
Yeah.
Yes. Pretty shitty you ended up being the hostage, eh? Never mind. How many people have you arrested for not carrying or having their ID cards?
Well, firstly, we don't arrest anymore. We invite for consultation. And they're not ID cards.
Don't be a bellend all your life, Andy. You know what I mean. Answer the question.
Well, it shouldn't have to be a big deal to prove who you are.
Only the guilty have something to fear?
Well, yes, actually.
How desperately naive.
Look, I'm just a police officer. The fucking CCO.
Just following orders?
Oh, come on, mate. That's not fair.
It was rhetorical. Jenny, ready to spill the beans yet?
Jeremy, please stop. I'm scared. Alex didn't even play your tape. This is pointless. It's over, Jeremy.
I was going to quit tonight. I had notes, see? There's a recording, a VHS tape, a message from Disrupt. I haven't heard it, but I know what it's trying to say, and I wanted you at home to hear it. To listen to the other side and make up your own minds. But Alex Winston, who works in production, decided it was not for your eyes and ears. It was not for broadcast. Maybe Alex will play it after the next break. Doesn't matter. Tomorrow morning it will arrive in every major news broadcaster worldwide. But I wanted you to hear it first. To listen to what Disrupt had to say about this unreported country. Because Disrupt and I, well, we swapped places while I wasn't looking. They're now the ones investigating, looking for evidence, trying to make the world a better place. And me? I'm in this newsroom interviewing Jeff fucking Algebra. What Disrupt have to say is important. You might not agree with all of it, but you should still hear it and make up your own minds.
Are you serious? Disrupt, a credible source. Get more objectivity out of Alan fucking James.
Oh my God, are you being deliberately obtuse? Why can't any of you understand there's no such thing as a credible news source anymore? Aaron! Shit! Aaron! Oh shit, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
He's bleeding. It's in his shoulder.
First aid! Whoa, we need first aid.
He doesn't need first aid, he needs a fucking ambulance.
Paramedics. There'll be paramedics for the security.
Unlock those doors.
No! Don't do that!
Jeremy, he's bleeding. He could die.
Yes, but if you open the door, that's
How did you think this was going to end?
Why are you even here today? It's supposed to be your day off!
My date cancelled. I thought it'd be more fun to be here than moping around at home. Truth be told, I wanted to see you. Being annoyed with you is like wearing a comfy jumper.
I think that's the nicest thing you've said to me.
Let's not make it the last.
Right. All remaining cameras on me. In a minute, I'm going to ask Jenny to unlock the doors. Now, me, Aaron, our cameraman, can get the medical attention he needs. I should imagine I'll get arrested for this. It wasn't the graceful. I had a speech. Once I was meant to be resigning with a flourish of honour. A last hurrah! I was going to wish you all one last peaceful night. Can't see that happening now. Still, I want to have one last stab at the news before I go. You see, there's so much more we're not telling you. There's large groups of scientists, and they're testing something loud and something. What was that? I didn't think it over. Why
Don't shoot him.
Stay back, please. Mr. Donaldson, you have 10 seconds to lower your weapon. If you do not comply, we will open fire.
God,
10.
cut to the ads.
9.
Alex, cut
8,
to the ads.